Hi everybody, Dave Winder here. I'm the Assistant Athletic Director for Media Relations with Murray State Athletics, and it's my pleasure to give you a tour, a first look at the new Murray State Hall of Champions. After a generous gift from former Murray State football alumni Bob Burton, we now have a place where we can honor what we call the Hall of Champions. Those are the people who were the great student athletes and the great teams that we've had here with Murray State Athletics since the school opened in the 1920s. When you come in here, you're going to be really amazed at the pictures that we've been able to archive and bring to you, and then also the memorabilia and the hardware that the racers have won over the years. So let's take a look at the Hall of Champions here at Murray State University. The first thing you're going to see here at the Hall of Champions is our Murray State Hall of Fame, and I really think this area really pops when you come in. We've even got the 2016 class that'll be honored in February, and you can see Ron Green, Terry Love, Kim Kaler, Ashley Nicole Hayes, and Wes Cunningham. And then in the middle there you see the Hall of Distinction, and this is an area where we can honor those people who have helped athletics over the years that did not fall into the coach or student athlete or athletic director category. One of the areas that I think really pops in the Hall of Champions is our Traditions Wall, and I want to draw your attention particularly to Racer 1. I just think that's the neatest thing. When I came to school here in the mid-'80s, I just thought, wow, they're actually running our thoroughbred around the track after a touchdown. So that's one of our traditions that we highlighted. We also took a look back at our past logos and fight song, and then we also paid homage to the Racer Nation, what we call the best fans in the country, and we've even got a picture here of when Dick Vitale made a visit to campus in 2012. Now the main room at the Hall of Champions is a series of what we call display panels, and we've got each sport divided up into sections here. When you come around the corner, you're going to see men's basketball prominently displayed, as it should be. And we did this corner for men's basketball in honor of the great Benny Purcell, and we've got a nice little recognition for him. We've also got one of his All-America warm-up jackets from 1952, which I think that might be my favorite item that's in here. But when you get to the display panels, what we tried to do here was identify those great moments and great championships and great players. And we really felt like in men's basketball, we really had to highlight the last 2 years of the Steve Prohm era, because even though they didn't make it to the NCAA tournament, you know, we had Cameron Payne drafted by the Oklahoma City Thunder. They won a CIT championship, and then last season, you know, came within an eyelash, just a crazy last-second shot that beat them at Old Dominion for a trip to the Final Four of the NIT. So. When you get in here, you're going to be amazed at how many pictures there are to look at and stories that go with pictures. I really like this experience because when you come in, the room kind of flows left to right. And you know, once you get into soccer and volleyball, of course volleyball just won a championship last year, and then you get into women's basketball and women's track and field and cross country. And then you roll right into the football area. It's just amazing when you think back to the many great coaches and players that we've had at Murray State. These display panels, I'll tell you a little story. We agonized over what pictures we could put up because we had to be very selective, because obviously I had more material than we had room for. But I just tried to bring out the best of the best. It didn't matter if we were talking tennis or golf or baseball. We just tried to give the fan an experience when they come in. And the neatest thing about it is when you get to a display panel, there's a little story that goes with each picture. There's lots to look at on the walls when you come through, and then you'll also notice that every so often in between the display panels there's lots of memorabilia that's on the walls. And one thing I wanted to do was to use pictures to tell the story, because we had so many pictures that didn't make it on the display panels that we felt like could help us tell a story. So as you walk around, you'll see these smaller trophy cases that are on the wall in between the display panels. And those are meant to show a trophy basketball or a helmet or some kind of a memorabilia that you could look at. It's a smaller space, so you'll see a lot of championship rings. I think that's really neat. I think we've got over 50 championship rings here in the Hall of Champions. So there's a lot to look at. There's a lot of little descriptor cards. So, for example, if you see a team picture, you'll probably see a listing of who's in the picture. So we're really happy about this. As you go around the room, you're going to have a great experience here at the Hall of Champions. So now I'm standing in the middle of the main room here in the Hall of Champions at Murray State. As you can see, we've got an enormous amount of display area. Trophies, football helmets, letter jackets, particular items that are unique to a championship. And we've also got room to grow in here too. It's a place it's not cluttered at all. So we really felt like, to get the Hall of Champions off and started, we do have room to expand, and we will be doing that, because I really think as we go along, like I said, this is not the end, this is the beginning, and this place is going to be changing as we keep doing great things. But I want to draw your attention in particular to this trophy case, because I'm really proud to say that we've got every football helmet that Murray State has worn since they left Cutchin Field in 1972 and then opened Stewart Stadium 42 years ago in 1973. Especially the white helmet here from the one that they were wearing when they left Cutchin Stadium and moved into Stewart Stadium in 1973. Former Murray State football player Cecil Burton loaned that to us, and I found he had posted that picture on Facebook one day. So I hit him on Facebook and I said, Cecil, we got to have that helmet, and he came through for us. So everything is here, and it's just amazing some of the kind of stuff we've got. On the bottom down here is the last football championship that the Racers won, 2002. And I saw Shane Andrus out one day. He was giving a kicking lesson at Stewart Stadium, and I said, hey, you wouldn't happen to have that 52-yard field goal ball? And he stopped me in mid-sentence. He goes, I still got it. So this ball here is the one that Shane kicked from 52 yards. And if you were there that day, it would have been good from 62. And that was the day that the Racers beat Eastern Illinois and Tony Romo to win their last football championship. The one thing that we really set out to do was those one-of-a-kind items. And as you go around, you'll see one of the sneakers, of a pair that Benny Purcell used to wear when he was men's tennis coach at Murray State. And oh, by the way, won 10 straight OVC titles in the 1980s. I still think that's amazing. And then we get into golf, and we've got Nick Newcomb, Patrick Newcomb displayed here, including Nick Newcomb's hole-in-one ball that he hit to win the OVC championship in 2008. And then, of course, Velvet Miltman and the women's golf program. They've won 9 OVC championships, so there's a great area for them. Softball is in its infancy, really, when you think about it, for Murray State. It wasn't that long ago that we started the program. We came up with the idea and announced it in 2008. So we got a few, first hit, first bat, first this, first that for softball. And then we get over into the baseball area, and that's where you run into the fellas who have competed at the big leagues, including Kirk Reeder, who is the winningest left-hander in San Francisco Giants history. And then, of course, we're highlighting one of our greatest all-time coaches, Johnny Reagan. So as you go around the room, you're just going to be amazed at the amount of history that's included here at the Hall of Champions. And then finally, I think it's the best part about the Hall of Champions. We have 3 large touch screens. Actually 4, but one of them in the corner is dedicated to men's basketball. But when people come in, the first thing you're going to see is just a really good menu here on the left side. Hall of Fame, Academic Achievement, All-Americans, Championships, video, and then photo galleries. Now when you walked in, you saw the physical plaques of all the Hall of Fame and Hall of Distinction, but when you get to the touch screens, if you go to Hall of Fame here, you're going to be able to see the plaques, those bronze plaques that we give to the inductees. And then you're going to be able to, just like on GoRacers.com, you're going to be able to sort according to name, what sport they played, and then their induction year. So, you know, whereas over on the wall you've got, you know, just the plaques. Now here, when you get here, you're going to have a profile of each Hall of Fame person, and then we'll have, you know, just whatever photos that we've got of each one. So I'm really happy with that as well. And then we've got, you know, lists as well. We get to academic achievement. You're going to be able to see, you know, just all those great student athletes who did a great job in the classroom, what sport they played, what year they played, and we just got a headshot of each one. And then the racers have a great championship tradition, and when you get to championships, you're going to be able to sort by sport. And let's just go to baseball real quick. When you get to a championship, you're going to see a photo gallery that you can kind of flip through. We've also got lots of video in here too. This is the last Murray State baseball championship in 2003, so you'll be able to look at some of the highlights of what they did winning that last baseball championship. And then when we get down to photo galleries, you're going to see just a lot of pictures of each sport, and you'll be able to look at pictures too. So again, I kind of get back to this is just the start. When we open up, it's just the start, because we feel like this whole place is going to evolve and just get better and better as we go along. And the final area that you'll really enjoy visiting here at the Hall of Champions, it's basically a list of great moments in Murray State history. And these are specific dates that we're talking about that you'll be able to go down through here. And some of these dates date back to the founding of the university, and some of them are very recent. You know, for example, years ago, Larry Mullen named Murray State's first golf All-America in 1964, all the way up to something very recent, October 9th, 2010. The Racers scored that amazing 72-59 homecoming win over Missouri State, and you see a picture of Casey Brockman. So we anticipate, you see this long row here of great moments. We anticipate, as the years go by, these moments stay here, and then we start building either a second row behind it or above it or something. And it just all goes to speak of the growth potential that we have for the place. It's really going to be neat. We're really looking forward to the time you can come and visit the Burton Family Hall of Champions here at Murray State. Now, it's located adjacent to the CFSB Center from the front of the building. It's actually a part of the Ray Center, which is where Murray State basketball practice gym and offices are located. And so the Burton Family Hall of Champions, it's right next to Highway 121 here in Murray. So come and see us when you can, and enjoy the Hall of Champions at Murray State University.